What if I told you there was once an empire so brutal, so fast, so unstoppable, that it stretched from China to Europe in just a few decades? An empire that didn't just conquer cities, it erased them from existence. No mercy, no warning, no escape. And at the center of it all was a man who started as a nobody in the frozen steppes of Mongolia, a man named Genghis Khan. But the real question is not who he was. The question is, how did the world's greatest empire of terror actually begin? Before the Mongols rose, the world was divided. In China, powerful dynasties ruled behind massive walls. In the Middle East, rich Islamic empires controlled trade routes. In Europe, kingdoms fought endless wars over land and religion. And far away in the cold, harsh grasslands of Mongolia lived scattered tribes. They were poor. They were constantly fighting each other. And they were seen as insignificant by the rest of the world. But history often hides its most dangerous storms in the quietest places. Because among those tribes, a boy was born in 1162. His name was Temujin, and he would not stay a nobody for long. Temujin's childhood was not heroic. It was survival. His father was poisoned. His tribe abandoned his family. He grew up hungry, hunted, and humiliated. At one point, he was even captured and enslaved. But instead of breaking him, it shaped him. He learned something early. In this world, only strength creates loyalty. Only fear creates order. And only absolute power creates peace. Slowly, Temujin began gathering followers. Not through kindness, but through discipline. He punished betrayal with death, but rewarded loyalty beyond imagination. He broke tribal traditions and united enemies under one rule: absolute obedience to the Khan. And one by one, tribes started falling under his control, until finally, in 1206, Temujin was given a new name, Genghis Khan, ruler of the universe. And from that moment, the world would never be the same again. Genghis Khan did not build walls. He built an army, a highly disciplined, fast-moving cavalry force unlike anything the world had seen. No heavy equipment, no slow movement, just horses, bows, and absolute coordination. And then, the invasions began. First target, neighboring tribes. Then, China. City after city fell. But what shocked the world was not just that the Mongols conquered, it was how they conquered. Some cities were spared if they surrendered quickly, but those who resisted were destroyed completely. Entire populations were wiped out as an example to others. Fear became a weapon, and it worked. Armies began surrendering before battles even began, because word had spread. The Mongols do not negotiate twice. Once China was under pressure, Genghis Khan turned west, toward the Islamic world. At that time, the Khwarezmian Empire controlled massive trade cities like Samarkand and Bukhara. But one incident changed history. Mongol trade envoys were killed by a governor, a mistake that would cost an empire everything. Genghis Khan responded not with diplomacy, but with total war. What followed was one of the most devastating invasions in history. Cities were burned, libraries were destroyed, canals were shattered, trade routes collapsed, Samarkand fell, Bukhara fell. Entire civilizations were crushed under horse hooves, and the Mongols did not stop. They moved faster than any army in history. It was not just conquest, it was annihilation. But calling Genghis Khan only a destroyer would be incomplete. He was also a military genius. He used spies. He spread misinformation. He divided enemies before attacking them. He adapted strategies from every culture he conquered. He even used psychological warfare. Sometimes, he would spare one survivor from a destroyed city, just so they could run to the next city and tell them what was coming. Fear did the fighting before the Mongols even arrived. But here is the contradiction of history. While destruction followed them, so did innovation. The Silk Road became safer under Mongol rule. Trade between East and West increased. Ideas, technology, and culture traveled like never before. The same empire that burned cities also connected continents. In 1227, Genghis Khan died. But his empire did not die with him. It grew. His sons and grandsons continued the invasions. The Mongol Empire became the largest continuous land empire in history. from China to Persia to Russia to the gates of Europe. And for a time, the world truly believed no place was safe. But like all empires, the Mongols eventually divided, and the age of the Great Khan faded into history. So how should history remember Genghis Khan? As a ruthless destroyer who erased cities from maps? Or as a visionary who united half the known world? The truth is uncomfortable. He was both. A man who brought unimaginable terror and unimaginable transformation. And perhaps that is why his story still haunts us today, because it forces us to ask, does power create order, or does it simply create fear? If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep historical videos like this. Comment below, was Genghis Khan the greatest conqueror or the most feared destroyer in history?